recent weeks, the Guam Fire Department has received a large number of reports of near drownings and stranded swimmers in Guam's water. With recent high surf advisories issued by the National Weather Service, GFD is asking the public to exercise best practices when venturing out into the ocean. Here to give us some tips on how you can keep safe is GFD spokesperson and Fire Lieutenant Joey San Nicolas. Thank you so much for coming on. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
First, I know, Joey, GFD has been responding to a lot of cases, more specifically in Tumon. How can people, maybe if they're out with families on the weekends, what are some of the tips you can give them to keep safe?
Well, a lot of the tips are, we like to say are common sense tips. Always to definitely have a float plan. Make sure somebody knows what that plan is at all times. And then when you actually get into the water, make sure you take precautions such as using flotation devices, whether it be a personal flotation device or just having a life ring right next to you, anything of that nature. And then, of course, always stay within your capabilities. Never swim beyond what you think you can return to shore with. And then when you're paddling, for instance, the canoe, definitely don't go beyond the vessel's capabilities as well.
And I know that a lot of people probably don't pay attention to high surf advisories issued by the National Weather Service or even pay attention to the waters. I know that they should, right?
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately, the message doesn't always reach everybody. And at the same time, there are those thrill seekers that go out there, and sometimes they might be a little overconfident in their abilities going out there. And unfortunately, all it takes is one rogue wave or one moment of inattention to detail, and they can get caught. And unfortunately, that happens.
And I know that the Guam Fire Department is very active when it comes to receiving, I guess, phone calls from lifeguards who can't do it on their own. How difficult is it for GFD to respond, I guess, when stuff like this happens?
Well, absolutely. First of all, the lifeguards of Department of Parks and Recs are a great asset to the response community that we have on Guam. Second to that, with the Guam Fire Department, we're not located at the beach site. We are located at a Dededo Fire Station, Tumon Fire Station, and Agate Rescue Base number 2 down at the Agate Marina, which poses a problem of distance and, of course, response time. Being that we have to respond all over the island, a couple of minutes could pass before we actually arrive. But when we do arrive, if lifeguards are present, usually they give us a quick breakdown of what's going on, and we immediately launch, like in the case of the most recent tragedy. Yeah.
And maybe you could tell us, I know a lot of people don't realize how much work goes on as far as, when you guys receive response, like calls or whatnot. It seems like there's a whole lot of, it has to go fast and whatnot, but there's also, you guys have your jet skis, you have all these equipment to help out with searches.
Right, well, all our firefighters, to include on the truck, ambulance, or even on the fire rescue unit, or especially the fire rescue unit, they're highly trained, highly skilled individuals, and we're all trained to move with a sense of urgency. And basically, lives are at stake, seconds count, and we try to assess the situation as quickly as we can and get out there. In the case of a sea rescue, this was very apparent in the most latest one, where our jet skis from Rescue 1 and 2 were able to launch immediately and pull in the 4 out of the 6 paddlers, 5 out of the 7 paddlers, and get them to shore as quick as possible. And of course, without that sense of urgency, that probably would not have happened.
And GFD receives multiple funding sources to purchase, for instance, I guess the jet skis, lighting and whatnot. Where does that come from?
Sure. This most recent Department of Interior 2009 funds was actually basically funded approximately 80% of the equipment that was at this most latest rescue. We're talking jet skis, the trailers for those skis, the dually truck, rescue truck that the guys are riding with all their equipment that was on it. Majority of it was funded through these federal funds, and which is awesome to think about, considering that that this entire rescue mission would not have been possible maybe without these funds.
And last comments, of course, you know, people, if there are a future surf advisories issued, any last comments on what people could do to stay safe?
Well, we always would like the public to always heed the cautions and then also spread the word. And recognize that when they do put themselves out there, whether it be recreationally or for any other purpose, and they do get caught, that, you know, firefighters, basically the all response community being lifeguards, to include the Coast Guard and the Navy, you know, they have to be put in harm's way to save anybody that might be. And yes, it is our job to do that. However, you know, when we can avoid putting our responders in danger, we always would like that to be the best scenario. And so, you know, the message really is just to heed the warnings, take extra precaution, and, you know, just be safe in everything we do, whether it be through a high surf advisory or just every day boating in the greatest weather that we have on this island.